Hello everyone and welcome to this third part of the G Suite password sync tutorial. In this final video, I believe we'll be talking about the troubleshooting topics. Basically, I will show you how you can find and locate the log files, and also I will explain what are the content that are found or logged in each type of the log files. Then there are two useful tools that I want to show you, and finally I will give you 3 more links also. These links are very important and very critical with the information that they have about G Suite password sync and how to troubleshoot it, and a lot of useful information really on those 3 links, so I love to share those with you. So going to our first topic and our first talk here, the log files, and we have about maybe 8 categories or types for the log files. Basically, I've got this table from the troubleshooting page for G Suite password sync, which is on Google support site. I will give you the link because this link is one of the 3 links that I want to give you at the end. So we have 8 categories for the log files. The first one of those is the configuration file, and this is basically, you cannot consider it as a log file. It is an XML file with the configuration of the GSPS tool. So this file is located in C program data, Google Apps password sync, and then config.xml. And to give you an idea about what this file looks like, I have already opened the browser to the file location, and this is the XML file. So opening it with Internet Explorer, for example, you will see that we have the domain name, the client ID, and the project ID. Those stuff that we got from the developers console when we went and authorized our G Suite password sync tool using a service account. So these are the IDs and the details for that authorization process. Then we have the information for the LDAP, and as you can see, we are not using the anonymous access method. We are using basically a username and a password, and those are stored somewhere else, I don't know where really. And here we have the base DN, where we are going to search for users and capture their password change requests, and this is the mail attribute. This is the key that the tool will use to find the user on G Suite admin console. There is nothing special to this file really. If you want, you can make a copy of it as a backup. If you don't, then I don't see any problem. If the reconfiguration is very simple and very easy actually to do. Then the second type of the log files, it is the service logs, and for me personally, I think this is the most important log file that you will ever need or have, or take a look on it very occasionally. This file is located in C Windows Service Profile, Network Services, or Service App Data. Just a note that this app data folder is also hidden the same way that the app data folder that is inside the user profile. So if you do not see app data in this path, then you'll have to show the hidden files. Then app data, then local, then Google Apps, and then Google Apps password sync, and then tracing, and then password sync service. These log files will show you all of the transactions and all of the actions that happen when the user changes his password on the Active Directory. So they will show you that a password has been changed, and then the change has been captured, and the tool then will do will sync the change to the G Suite admin console and to the user account on G Suite. So you will see all of the details regarding this process, and you will see any errors actually in this process as well. You will use this file and another file, which is the service authorization logs, to find any problems in your GSPS tool. And the service authorization logs is basically the log file that will show you if the service is having any issues or any problems authorizing with the G Suite admin console. And this might be useful if you are using the 3-legged authorization method, and for some reason the tool is not syncing the user passwords. Then you will have to take a look on this file, which is located in C Windows Service Profiles, Network Service, App Data Local, Google Identity, and you will find the details that are related to the authorization. Now I want to show you the content of the service logs, then the service authorization logs. So going back to our server, I'm going to navigate first to the C Windows Service Profiles, Network Service, App Data, and so on to find the service logs file. So here we are in the service logs, the password sync service logs. The path, as I mentioned, is very long, and you will actually have to copy it from the link, or from the information that you'll see in the link when I give you the link. So these are text files, and all of the content and all of the actions that are happening in the GSPS tool will be logged in this file. Taking a look on this file, I think this is the only file that have information and transactions. So if you open it, then you will see the general information about the executable file, the versions, and all of this, and then we will see the configuration is loaded, which are the similar information that we have seen from the config XML file. And finally, we will see that the tool is connected, or actually started, and is listening for the changes and the password change requests, and it's now waiting for a password update. And then when a password update happens, it will tell you that successfully received number of bytes from the client, and then it will tell you that it's going to update the password for the specific user. This is the user that I believe I have made the test in the previous video when I have changed the password for it. So it will show you all the transactions and all of the stuff that it does to change or replicate the password change to G Suite Admin Console. So once it completes the password sync process, and once the password is updated, it will go back to the listening stage, and it will listen to any password changes, and whenever a password change happens, it will repeat the same process again. This is the log, and if there are any errors, you will find them here. So I think you will be checking this file regularly. If any errors or any issues with the GSPS tool, you will find them in this file. This is for the service logs. For the service authorization logs, we'll have to go to another place, which is somewhere in the same path for the Google Apps password sync. However, it is in another folder which is called identity. So we have been in this folder to check the service logs, and we'll go to identity folder to check the authorization logs. So going inside, we don't have any errors, or we don't have any logs here, because basically we do not have any error in the authorization process. Whenever we get any error, we should get a file in here, a log file in here, I believe, and the content of this error will be visible to us, and we can troubleshoot the authorization problem. The remaining logs, or the remaining type of logs, are all in the same location from now on. So we have the configuration interface logs, and we have two paths for this type of logs. We have one path for the current or the new version of this tool, and we have another path for another version. And basically they are the same location. However, if you notice here, we have the folder name, which is called Google Apps Password Sync. The other folder, or the path for the other version, it is the same. However, there is a space before the Google Apps Password Sync. So if you are using version 1.6 or earlier, you will have to watch out for this space. If you are using the new version, or if you just downloaded the latest version, then you should not worry about the space, and this is the path that you should use for that version. And basically these files, or these log files, will show you the logs and the details for the configuration interface, and if you get an error, you will find it in that folder, or in that file, in this log file. So basically, when you are doing the authorization, when you are entering the super administrator name or the email address for the super administrator, and when you're entering the domain name, when you are entering, or when you're configuring the service account and the base DN and all of these stuff and all of these configuration, the logs for this process are going to be found in this folder on this path. So if you encounter any error, you will have to open these log files and see the error number, and then go to the support site of Google, or Google it on the internet and find what is going on in the process or in the interface. We have then the configuration interface authorization logs. And basically, and this is just the way that I understood that the configuration interface authorization logs happen at the time you are configuring the GSPS tool. So if you get an error in the authorization while you are configuring GSPS in the configuration interface, these logs will be located in C users, then the username, then app data local Google identity. The difference between the service authorization logs is, I believe, the service authorization logs will be generated while the service is running, and while the service itself encounters an authorization error or issue while trying to update a password for a user. So after the configuration, if you get any authorization error, I think you should go to the Windows Service Profiles, Network Service, App Data, Local, Google Identity to find what is going on and find the error number. The configuration interface authorization logs, I think you will only have to check them only one time if you are having some weird performance or if you're having some weird stuff going on while you are doing the configuration for GSPS tool. Then we have the DLL logs, and these I think also for the service troubleshooting itself. Then we have the command line installer logs, and basically these are the logs that get generated from the installation of the GSPS tool. Finally, you have the crash reports log, and these logs are generic, or basically they come with every service that is installed on the Windows server or in the Windows in general. So you have to go to the C Windows Service Profiles, Network Service, App Data, Local Temp to find the crash log files. This path is for the service, and the other path is C users, then the username, App Data, Local Temp. This path is for the configuration tool, the graphical interface crashing logs. So again, if you get the service crashing constantly or just suddenly crashed, then you'll have to go to the C Windows Service Profiles path to find whatever is going on. If the graphical configuration interface itself crashed with you, then you have to go to C users, then username, App Data, Local Temp to find the error number and the error details. So before I move on to the next topic of this video, and since all of these, basically not all of these, like 4 of these are in the same location, I just want to take a minute to show you the actual files that are found in the C users, then the username, App Data, Local, Google folder. So going back to our server, and if we type directly in here, App Data, then we'll have to go back one level up to open the local folder. Then we get Google. In Google we get a folder for the Google Apps directory sync, or sorry, Google Apps password sync, and the identity folder. So the identity folder is for the authorization problems that we get while you are configuring the GSPS tool using the graphical interface, and I think I have one file in here. So taking a look on it, you see that we've got one error, which was, I think, at the time that I have configured this tool, and it gives us this error number. So all we have to do is we go to the Google support site and find what's going on. I think this is a network issue because I think I tried to configure the tool without having a network connectivity or something like this. So yeah, you just have to take the error number and find what's going on or what is this error on Google support site. Then going back one level up, then we open the Google Apps password sync folder. We have the tracing folder. Inside the tracing folder we have the MSI exec. This one is for the setup logs, the installation logs. We've got one file in here for the installation process, and we have the password sync folder. These files are for the configuration part of the GSPS tool, so when we open the configuration utility, the logs will be saved in here. So opening, for example, this one, you'll see that the logs or the stuff that we've configured for this tool, and after this you'll see at the end that the service has been started successfully. So these are the log files, and because GSPS is a service, you do not interact with it. It is very important that you are aware about these log files and you know how to get to these log files, because when an error happens you will not see any warning or any graphical interface to tell you that there is an error is happening. All you will see that the password sync is not working and the users are not getting their password synced, and at this time you'll have to start digging and find what's going on. You first need to start with the service logs, the logs that will show you the actual actions and the actual activities that happen when a user tries to change his password. Then you'll have to check the service authorization logs. These logs will show you if there are any authorization issues for the service itself with the G Suite Admin Console. all you have to do is find the errors, take the number, and either open a support ticket with Google support or find it your own way. Either Google it or go to the support side of Google and find the error number there and read how you can fix it or whatever workarounds that are available there. Just another note before we leave, this is the folder that you need to watch out if you have another or an old version of GSPS. Note that at the beginning of this there is no space. However, if you are using an older version, 1.6 or earlier, you will get a space in the beginning of the folder name. I'm not sure why it's this. However, just make sure that you are aware of this, because if you are trying to copy and paste the path, you might not get to the path actually because of this little space in here. So this is it for the log files. Next, there are two nice and important and lovely tools that I want you to be aware of and I want to show you. The first one of these are called the GSPS support tool, and basically this is a tool that is made by Google on GitHub. This is an open source tool. It's made using VB script, so the code is not that mystical or anything. You can read the code. The job of this tool is it's going to collect all of the logs for you and it will put them in one location for you, so you can take those logs and then upload them to the Google's log analyzer, which is the second tool. This tool, the logs analyzer, is basically a web-based tool. It's part of another set of tools under the name of G Suite Toolbox. So G Suite Toolbox will give you a lot of tools that will help you troubleshoot and work with the issues and get informations about various items and tasks and stuff that are related to the G Suite administration and deployment. So all you have to do with these logs, you will open the Google Log Analyzer and then you will upload the logs or paste the content of these logs, and then either you select the source of these logs or let it automatically detect the source of these logs, and then it will give you a good looking table analysis for these logs, and it will indicate any errors or any things that you need to be aware of or watch out or modify or whatever the reason that you're using the log analyzer for. So let's start to take a look on the GSPS support tool first, then I will show you the log analyzer. So this is the home page for the GSPS support tool. This is the GitHub repository for it, and if you get a little bit curious about the repositories available, you can just go to the Google repositories and browse all of the stuff that they have available on the GitHub. However, for this specific topic, we are going to the releases. But first, actually, these are the files for this tool. So the instructions are very simple. You'll have to download the GSPS tool, then run it, and then upload the file it will create to the log analyzer, and that's it. So the tool is built with Visual Basic, which is basically VB script. So going to the releases, all you have to do is download the tool, which is either for the 64-bit or 32-bit, depends on the platform. I have the 64-bit, so here we go. We'll have to find it in the downloads. So just double click on it and it should create the logs for me, and that's it. So it created a zip file for us, I think in the desktop, and see the content of this zip file. Basically, I think it collected some logs and some files, some DLL files and all of these, and it's basically going to collect these files and logs from all of the Active Directory domain controllers that you have, because as mentioned in the early videos, this tool must be installed on every Active Directory, on every writable Active Directory server that you have. So it's going to collect this information from all of the servers that you have in your network, and then you will just upload this file to the log analyzer and find whatever issue and whatever problem that you have in the performance of this tool. This is for the first tool. Now the second tool, which is the log analyzer, you can go to it from here, and it's actually G Suite Toolbox. You will see these links in the video description and on screen as well as we've seen in the slides. So this is the toolbox, and basically we'll check the menu and we'll go to the log analyzer, So this is the home page for the log analyzer, and basically all you have to do is you either paste the content of a log file or upload the log file. Here are the information on how to get the log files for different applications, and then you select the file and upload it. Then you either keep the file source or the log file source to auto detect, or select the source of the log file and you just click analyze. So as a quick example, let's upload one of the log files that we have here. So if we go to the password sync and tracing and password sync, let's take the path and let's choose a file. Let's upload, I think, one of the large files. Let's upload this one and let's keep it to auto detect and let's click analyze. So this is the log file that we have uploaded. This is the raw view of the log file, and on the observations section it will give you basically any indication of any error or any warning or anything. However, for this specific file it tells us that nothing interesting happened or nothing interesting observed. To make it more relevant, I'm going to select one of the service log files which are found in the C Windows service profile, blah blah blah, password sync, tracing, password sync service. So let's take this whole path and let's go back and upload another file. So let's take the large file that we have here and let's click analyze. So again, nothing interesting observed. It means that we do not have any errors and the password sync is working properly. So this is it for the tools. I think with this information we'll be able to be more effectively able to troubleshoot the issues for GSPS, because as I mentioned, this is a service that you do not interact with. This is something that works in the background, so you need to be able to find or to see what's going on in the background and behind the scenes, and these log files and these tools will be able to give you a good idea about what is going on and what are the issues and troubles that are happening. So before we move on and finish this video and maybe this series, there are 3 more links that I want to give you and I want you to check, because they are very important and very critical with the information that they have. The first one of those is Troubleshooting GSPS. This is the link for it and this is the QR code. And basically this one will give you a lot of information on what you need to do if and in the case you needed to troubleshoot the GSPS. This link will also take you to another 2 links, the GSPS logs and error codes and troubleshoot authentication errors in GSPS service logs. These 3 are connected articles on Google support site. So going to the first one, Troubleshooting GSPS, let's go and take a look on it. This is the page for the Troubleshooting GSPS, and as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the table that I have shown you with the log file locations is available in this page, and basically you have to scroll to the bottom and you check the section where are the logs and configuration files located. This is the table, and also there is a description in front of each row that will tell you what is the purpose of this file. And the other information in here are very important, and it will give you basically a lot of steps to do the troubleshooting and to help you find what is the issue and the problem that you have. So the other 2 links are also found in here. So we have the GSPS logs and codes, the GSPS logs and error codes, and the troubleshoot authentication errors in GSPS service logs. So I'm going to show you the GSPS logs and error codes and maybe quickly also take a look on this one, but this one is also very important because it will give you a lot of information about the various error codes that you can see in the logs of the GSPS. As you can see here, there are a lot of information about the error codes and what you can do to fix the errors or the issues. So when you get an error code from the log files, your first place to check, I believe, will be here. So come to this page and find the error and see what is the feedback or the explanation about this error. Also, you check the stuff in these sections, so the when HTTP warnings or errors. I believe we've seen one error like this in one of the log files, I think in the authorization log file for the configuration UI. So this page has a lot of information and details about the errors and their codes that you might find in the logs. Finally, the troubleshoot authentication errors in GSPS service logs is also an important page, because when you get an authorization error and you want to find what's going on, you will have to get some error codes, and then these steps are going to help you a lot in finding what is the problem, what's going on. So this is it really for the GSPS on this tutorial as well. I hope the content that was presented is useful for you, and I hope I did present it in an easy way and a useful way. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe, and if you need any more stuff explained, or if there is anything that I did not explain, please put it in the comments and I will be happy to talk about it again or explain it again. And I would like also to bring to your attention about my recent G Suite administrator course. I have put a course about 10.5 hours, 10.5 hours on Udemy. It has all of the details that you have, and it has all of the information that you need to know to be able to effectively manage your G Suite admin console. It will give you all of the possible configurations and all of the knowledge that you need to have, and it's going also to introduce you to many services. They are very important and critical, such as the APIs and GAM, which I also have a tutorial for it on the channel. And I also talked a little bit about the Google Sites, how you can introduce them to your organization. The course is being updated constantly. I'm catching up with Google updates and do the necessary changes to the course. So there is currently a promotion on it on Udemy, and I have my own promotion as well, so check it. And if you want, you can get it for $10.99 instead of its original price, which is $59.99. I'm going to put a link for it in the video description. And if you like the course, if you get the course and if you like it, please rate it on Udemy. It helps me a lot. And please also subscribe again in this channel. It helps me a lot. That's it really. Thank you very much for your time. I hope this was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.